Building a GameCube collection in modern times can be tough. The Cube is over 20 years old, with some games aging terribly, while others have held their own. A decent GameCube collection can be built relatively cheaply, and I've shown that in a previous video. But there are some games out there that are better than the rest, and are, for now, stuck on the GameCube. What are these? Well, watch along and get ready to empty your wallets, as most of these games aren't cheap, and the prices keep going up and up. Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door. This is a very, very well treasured game, and I thought I would kick off this list in style. This is the second game in the RPG series, following Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. This is a game that already costs north of £100 or more, and it just keeps going up and up. The premise is that Mario has once again discovered that Princess Peach has been kidnapped, and he must find the 7 crystal stars to open the 1,000-Year Door and rescue her. There are 8 chapters, plus the prologue to storm through, which will take on average about 30 to 40 hours depending on how thorough you want to be. Mario teams up with some unlikely characters from the universe, and there are also missions in between chapters where you can switch play up from Mario to other characters in the Mushroom Kingdom, but I won't put any spoilers for this game in here. Now, one of the downsides for those who don't like it are the backtracking, and while there isn't too much of it, it can get a little tedious. Likewise, there is a lot of chat going on, so for those who are not into reading and getting hooked on the story, this might not be the best game for you. The writing needs to be commended though, more than anything, with quirky characters and dialogue littered throughout. The turn-based battle system, along with other varied gameplay styles and a fantastic soundtrack, ensures that this Mario RPG still remains to be a fan favourite after all this time. Piano 3. Well, play as Vanessa Schneider in this third-person shooter developed by Capcom as one of the Capcom 5 exclusive games for GameCube. As it stands, Piano 3 is the only one to remain exclusive, with Killer 7, Beautiful Joe and Resident Evil 4 all getting ported elsewhere. The other game, Dead Phoenix, was actually cancelled. This has been directed by Shinji Mikami of Resident Evil and Devil May Cry fame. Piano 3 didn't, well, get received well at the time. However, if you are a fan of solid arcade shooters, then Piano 3 might be up your street. There is a mean difficulty, even on the easier settings, and while it may appear to look repetitive, the gameplay is rewarding enough to carry it through. This was from a time where the Matrix was cool, and so dodging bullets acrobatically was the thing to do. Vanessa is a mercenary, hired to gun down these robots with her energy suit. The game goes from room to room, each filled with a certain number of enemies and not much help by the way of health drops. Although there are ways to update your suit from sparsely placed checkpoints and at the end of each mission. The story is told via a text box based communication call, and it isn't the strongest point of the game, which is unfortunate. Aside from all the shooting, there are other challenges to get past, such as ducking through hallways with laser traps, or going through randomly generated trial missions to get more in-game currency to spend on upgrades. The trick is to play patiently and recognise enemy movements, dodge, roll and hide to learn the attack patterns and pounce when you have the chance. Fortunately, the controls are a bit of a mess, but once you've adjusted to it, it is certainly part of the charm of getting through the game. Mario Kart Double Dash, the fourth game in the Mario Kart franchise and the only one to feature 2 riders in one kart. It is this very factor that keeps this game very relevant today. The strategy of being able to switch between driver and rider to alternate weapons adds a layer of strategy in that no other Mario Kart games have done since. Furthermore, it opens up to co-op driving, which the series also hasn't explored since. From a legacy point of view, Mario Kart Double Dash has some very popular tracks, including Yoshi's Circuit and Daisy Cruiser. Due to the nature of needing 2 players per kart in Mario Kart Double Dash, the roster significantly increased from the 8 in previous iterations to 20, and for the first time included unlockable races. PT Piranha and Paratrooper have never been playable since either, and it was the debut of Toadette into the Mario universe. With only 4 cups and 16 tracks available, it is one of the smallest Mario Karts available. But don't be fooled, this is a fun game, and with a great multiplayer battle mode and awesome courses. The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures. Control 4 links at once, or team up with friends by using a Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Advance link cable to play in multiplayer. The problem I had growing up is that I didn't know that many people with a GBA who wanted to play this game with me, so I've largely played it by myself. But don't be put off if you're alone, this is one of the more unique Zeldas, and if you like top-down Zelda styles of the 16-bit era, then you'll enjoy this. It even has some cel shading effects that were carried over from Wind Waker. Unlike most Zelda games, 4 Swords Adventures have self-contained levels, or rather so dungeons, with numerous puzzles, enemies, and bosses to beat. Obstacles often require certain weapons to be used to overcome, such as using a boomerang to turn off switches across a chasm, or lanterns to light torches. Four Swords Adventures is relatively unique, if you dismiss the GBA and DSi versions of 4 Swords, that is. It is a game that hasn't received a port, and while it would be ripe for a Nintendo Switch port or even remake, it just hasn't had one, making this still a unique and great game that is trapped on the GameCube that you must play. Starfox Assault, developed by Namco, is an on-rail shooter clashed together with a free-roaming third-person puzzle and action elements that received very mixed reactions when it released. Namco had the task of restoring a Star Fox reputation after many dismissed Star Fox Adventures as a Zelda-like clone. No matter how enjoyable it wasn't what people had hoped to be from a Star Fox game. While Namco did do this to an extent, the on-foot levels did feel a bit out of place at a time when many wanted an on-rail shooter. Despite this, it is still fun to go back to for a playthrough today, give or take a level or two.
The Queen herself makes her vile nest on their home planet. As long as the Queen exists, the Aporoids will continue to multiply.
It does, however, focus on its plot and story, which is Borg-style assimilation threat, known as the Aporoid, spreading throughout the Lilat system. It does have some interesting story beats for those Star Fox fans out there. However, The campaign can be beaten within a few good hours, but a lot of fun can be found if you have 3 good friends out there, and this game can really excel in its multiplayer modes. Go give it a go!
I can't stand to see Fox like this.
You think you can win? Don't make me laugh.
The Fire Emblem series was still in its infancy in the West when Path of Radiance launched towards the end of the GameCube's life cycle in 2005. The series gained somewhat of a cult following due to the inclusion of Marth and Roy in Super Smash Bros. Melee, with 2 games releasing on the Game Boy Advance. This was the first home console game to hit Western shores. For those who don't know, Fire Emblem is a tactical, strategic, turn-based RPG with a mythical, medieval lore featuring magic, dragons, and transforming creatures. It was the first game in the series to feature 3D models and voice acting, a step up from the pixel art prior to it, although to be honest, I really do think the pixel art in the Game Boy Advance games has aged better than this has. For those who continue to play Super Smash Bros., they may recognise the protagonist of this game, Ike. Get intertwined with the plot which sees politics and warmongering between nations get heated and unravel the mystery of what is going on. There are rumours that this game could get remade one day, but until that time, it is stuck on the GameCube. Kirby Air Ride, another racing game on the GameCube, although this one is far more unique than the others. Kirby Air Ride is a racing game that only requires the use of one button, which is ironically the brake button. Kirby automatically moves and the player uses the control stick to steer and the A button to brake and then boost around corners. A novel method of playing a game, with other quirks such as transformations and attacking players added in. The bulk of the racing is in air ride mode with 9 courses to choose from. The other is Top Ride, which is a bird's eye view race, although it took me a little while to get to grips with the controls for this. Super Smash Bros. Fans will undoubtedly know the history behind the series creator Masahiro Sakurai, who worked on this game and will see some similarities between Air Ride's menu system and Super Smash Bros. Melee. One of the game's modes, City Trial, is also very similar in concept to Super Smash Bros. 3DS's Smash Run, where characters roam around for a few minutes collecting power-ups to then take part in a random battle of sorts once the timer is up, utilising the stat buff that's collected in the build-up. This is truly a unique Kirby game, and the only racing one out there, and it's quite surprising that a remake, port or sequel has never been done, so if you have a GameCube, then race out there to play this gem of a game. Another game that launched to lukewarm reviews that is now looked back on with some positive sentiment, it's WarioWorld. WarioWorld is a 3D platforming game consisting of 8 levels across 4 worlds, making it shorter than most people would like. But with a number of hidden collectibles and long stages, this game is better than critics would claim. Wario has an arsenal of combat moves to execute, including punching, dashing, swinging and more. There are also some additional hidden challenges in the game, which take Wario out of the world he is in to find collectible treasure, similar to the non-flood levels in Mario Sunshine. It is probably one of the cheaper games on this list to pick up, so if you're in the mood to experience Wario's first 3D adventure, then you better do it on the GameCube.
Am I too late? He's alive.
Released a few years after the PS2 cult hit Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes is a remake of the PlayStation mega hit Metal Gear Solid. It's with the same style as its sequel. Graphical tech had come along massively from the original game to the GameCube, and Silicon Knights did a bang-up job remaking Metal Gear Solid to the GameCube, even if the cutscenes went a bit over the top.
Who's that? I've got him.
Metal Gear Solid is a stealth action-adventure game that is incredibly story-driven through the use of cutscenes and radio dialogue through the in-game codec system.
There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, he must be crazy to fly hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you two yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist.
You will spend an incredible amount of time watching and listening to these as they are brilliantly acted out by the voice cast, even if some of the subtle changes that were made to Twin Snakes took some of the character out of the voice acting. It is my preferred way to retread that story of the PlayStation original, and unbelievably it's never been ported, remade or remastered ever since its GameCube appearance. The original PlayStation version has made an appearance here or there in recent times, but certainly doesn't get enough love given to it compared to its sequels. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes goes for quite a lot on the aftermarket, so I don't blame you if you can't pick this one up, but if you do see it out there, I implore you to go out and play it.
So you want to play?
Guys, the party's just starting.
F-Zero GX is a futuristic high-speed racer developed by Sega, Nintendo and Namco. It is the last console appearance of F-Zero, which debuted on the Super Nintendo in 1990. While a couple more games released on the GBA after F-Zero GX, and there have been homages in Mario Kart and Nintendo Land, nothing else Nintendo has put out has ever tried to replicate F-Zero GX. This is the pinnacle of the series, and quite frankly, one of the best games on the GameCube. For the first time, a fully fledged and customizable garage was introduced to create crafts of your own, or you could use one of the 30 selectable characters, pretty much most of which need to be unlocked throughout the course of the game. Graphically, this game still stands out to be one of the prettiest games on the GameCube and looks sublime running at 60 frames per second and 480p, even decades after its release. The cutscenes also stand up to today's standard as well, even if they are a bit corny. F-Zero AX was an arcade version of this game with additional tracks, which could be unlocked in GX either by plugging your GameCube memory card into the arcade machine, or by completing all the cups or story missions on the hardest difficulty. It is something I have yet to achieve, but one day I strive to do so. It is as tough as nails. The story mode has 9 chapters of challenges, and these are quite frankly on the hardest difficulty one of the toughest games that Nintendo has ever put out. If you find F-Zero GX out there, it's relatively quite cheap today, then I definitely have to recommend this as one of the best games on the GameCube that has aged so well. So, there you have it, 10 games that are trapped on the GameCube that are still worth playing today. These games are true GameCube treasures that are still unique to the system, and if you have a GameCube and haven't played these games yet, then go certainly give them a go and give them a try. Can you think of any more that I haven't listed though? Then let me know in the comments below. If you have liked this video, then please hit that like button and subscribe to see more of my content. But for now, that's everything. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you on the next video.